the Reykjavík trophy once again. North America has claimed it in the past, and both of these teams are trying to contend for that championship spot, but unfortunately, they're going to have to knock the other one down to that lower bracket here today.
Yeah, in some sense, it's a brutal one for the North American fans, but at least one of the North American teams has to win, right? That's a positive for them too. But yeah, I really feel like the fans demand a contender in this tournament, someone that could win the entire thing. Let's take a look at Fracture. OpTic running the same composition that looked really good for them previously, with Victor on the Neon. They never used to do this. Both of these teams used to play Raze. Now neither of them playing the Raze on this map.
And you can see a lot of space being taken. The contact comes through. They hear the door being opened. Jonah P has to play this so carefully, but does he realize so many of these players are right around the corner, and it's just spam. Unloading the clips in a rapid fashion, but FNS might be able to catch a brutal timing. No! Just can't find the shots. And the flash that came through, OpTic were completely blind to it.
And that's a perfect flash. And Net supports with gorgeous timing, dropping down from rope, using his headhunter to catch those 2 kills. And OpTic's pistol round got completely countered.
Look at this. I mean,
all blind. The only player that isn't is Marved, and he's not able to land the shot.
And Trent popping off.
Fired up.
Yeah.
In the meantime, by the way, something we didn't particularly highlight, Sireplayer and Valen pushed tree. And I was thinking a little bit about Sireplayer's Jet decision here. You're going to see him with an opportunity to grab an opening pick onto Ye. Oh. The desk were talking about how good these first kills were. Ye's got armor. Yeah. Manages to survive that one.
Give it out all the warbang.
Sure.
Through just to make sure that he survived it.
But overall, Brent, the Jet pick has been going out of fashion on this map. Most teams going towards Raze after Champions. And the Neon, I think, is cool. The Jet, I haven't seen as much success from. So this is a big question mark for me. Some of it might be because Sireplayer went crazy on Haven and was 23-8. Maybe they've called an audible. And they're just willing for him to frag out like this.
And he's got easy targets ahead of him. No armor online for anybody, but Marv's, he's not going to go down without a fight. The one player for him, but already all those kills going away of Sireplayer needs to be building up towards that Blade Storm.
But there is another strategic reason why I think you may be wanting to go towards the Jet.
Trust me.
And that is that if you want to be pushing aggressively into a team that runs Chamber, you can use your Cloudburst to smoke off the trademarks.
Let's go, boys. What do you want to do here? Let's come.
All right, here.
Getting on board early, actually. There you go. What do we want to do here? What are we doing for the bonus? Let's come, keeping things up, keeping the motivation there.
Yeah.
Leadership figures within the guards stepping up on the first event.
Right
yeah,
there.
like I said, I think just keep in mind the potential flanks that Sire could go for with his Cloudburst.
Gives him so many more options. I'm glad he highlighted it, because inherently when you think about it, that direct trade, you do miss something. Okay, Jonah P just jumped around a corner, obviously not anticipating that there's going to be such a high tempo when they took that disc control, but OpTic obviously playing it. It is beautiful for them. How is Trent being able to find those pickoffs to the Spectre from that kind of range?
What is that?
I'm not too sure. In fact, Sireplayer himself, Frenzy and Spectre in hand, he's taken out a multitude of the players, and now they've regained control of it. They're getting a bit of a pincer with the spike down, rifles to claim.
How on earth do FNS and Ye claw this one back into OpTic control? They had such a great opener as well, finding Jonah P over towards Dish. And the pressure really is on at FNS and Ye here. They do not want to go down again. These bonus rounds are devastating from both teams, but at different times.
Yep.
Here.
And you can see they do have a couple of tools to use with the fault line and the flash in hand, but how do they do it? It's so much on Ye to find the value, to look for it. Quick little reset, FNS. 54 health. The spray transfer's good.
Left.
It's a 1v1. Him versus Net. Quick tip tap, but it's not enough. Net shuts it down, and the guard take it away on their bonus.
That's a ridiculous round. And that's a crazy opener for the guard.
Oh my.
Net up 4-1, but really the players that won that were Trent and Sireplayer. How is the Spectre and Frenzy favored at that range against the Vandal?
Ridiculous.
I mean, it's not. It simply isn't favored. But somehow they win the duels anyway.
Again, the cheers. The team is feeling it. Sireplayer's feeling it.
OpTic, these thrifties have been dangerous. They've been good at being able to convert them so far. Crashies, Ye both get stunned up by the fault line over towards Tree, but there's no aggression really behind it. Sire players watch Arcade.
Different elevation. Victor obviously hoping a player might swing into them.
Yeah. He doesn't really have the angle there on top of the box to actually peek.
Yeah.
And Crashy's stomping around underneath, looking to reconnect with Victor and maybe make some damage happen. But they're also building up these ultimates. Trent, Valin, Sireplayer, one orb away from getting their ults online for the next gun round. These are the problems, that snowballs that can occur. It's not just about the economy in terms of credits.
Stay down. My ult's ready.
Gotta think about the ultimates when they carry forwards into the next round. The Guard are just looking to not give away any of the weapons that they've picked up along the way here. OpTic with the contact play. I mean, Victor's made his way into Nest, and he is going to get the one. Nest also might be able to do a bit of work, but shut down. And know exactly where Victor is, 11 health. He's not going to be able to do too much. 4 rounds now for the Guard here on Fracture. The decider that it all comes down to. Now, Josh, for all that talk about ultimates, it is OpTic with a lot online for them, and now timeout being called as well. You can see that you have that rolling thunder, the Brim ult that Marv's holding on to as well. A lot of combo potential. Hoping that they can cook something up. The ultimates, the money.
It looks like a fast A piece, honestly. The Neon, Victor not actually going with his team for a moment. Nope, coming back towards the spawn side. South side of the map is where everybody from OpTic's going to begin. And even though Ye has an operator, just the ults that are available here indicate that they might want to try and take A halls quickly.
Yeah.
This knife, if FNS does throw it, sorry, if Crashies throws it, they've changed roles, obviously. Gonna catch on to Sireplayer and Valin, give them the info. Sireplayer dodged it, actually.
He does. Beautiful flash to push away that aggression on Tree, and it's a slow siege as Hall starts to get taken up now by OpTic, again with the contact plays all the way deep. But do they anticipate that Net has the operator in hand and the high ground position that he's on this box? It's an angle. They don't anticipate too much, but now you see it turned up a tad. Bit of heat, a bit of pace injected into the round, especially the null command. Crashy wants to try and lead it in for his team, but it's already off to not an ideal start with Victor falling still. Control going to be gained of Dish and Hawes. As long as OpTic can hold this one down, there's still a chance in this round, especially with the ultimates.
Yeah, they have some massive ults to be able to work with. FNS Marv, both with ults that can deny you from getting the defuse online. I think you're definitely going to see them invested here. Brim straight off the rim.
Splits them up. Now you see the rolling thunder. It's actually used by OpTic reactively to try and push them through into sand. They're coming up with the kills, despite the fact that the Guard was stunned up. Valin is able to take down FNS, and now you see it being used. That's from the Guard side. The rolling thunder to push the players out of halls. And the molly, it misses. The orbital strike has to be committed. Crashy's just spamming through to clip onto the diffuser. Far too much tools being used to try and stop them, and Crashy's, no one cleared him out of that spot.
And OpTic, they use a lot of ultimates, but they do get the round win. And it's a good one to put onto the board. They forced out some from the Guard, and they recovered that from a 4v5 situation too. Yeah, he got tagged up, but he was able to find this pick early enough that OpTic kept control the entire time. And this kill from Crashies was right before Trent got half. So that completely destroys the round. Yeah,
changes completely.
There's no chance there whatsoever.
If Trent gets half, you know, with the time running that low, possibility. But
I will say, though, it was another first death from Victor, and you heard Kukuka on the desk talking about it. Victor went 1 and 5 in first kills to first deaths on Haven. That cannot happen again here. Yes, OpTic recovered that one, but they won't do it. They won't do it often.
Yeah, it's going to take Victor stepping up, I think, in terms of his performance. avoiding being the first death in a lot of these engagements for them. And now OpTic have slowed it down. They've just got the players holding bridge control up top. You can see making sure that they can maybe evacuate in case there's some kind of pressure being applied to them.
And it's a fairly patient hold, pretty defensive from the guard, but it's a double operator setup as well. One looking towards dish and the other looking towards stairs at tree.
And this kind of contact play that's been happening, OpTic have been doing this a lot, by the way, walking into these key angles, trying to take space for free without showcasing themselves. This could be broken by the double operator setup.
That contact play gets dominated by Ops. But only if they're looking in the right direction.
And now it's a fast play. Victor's all the way up top. There's some pressure coming through. Jonah Pido with the punish. The 2 for 2. 3 players remaining here as OpTic look to try and make their mark onto the site.
That's rough, actually. It's a perfectly timed molly from Valen. Traps everybody in B tower.
And now it buys time as well for the rotations to come through. Flash to re-clear it. Net just about whiffs the shot, but he knows. He gets information. There's a player in the corner still. Now it's the 1v1. FNS has the operator, but Trent is cool, calm, and collected, and he knows with 12 seconds remaining, time has to be played here. He does not want to be baited into FNS's swing. He's off of it. FNS has to commit it now. Aftershock to push him away. FNS knows he has to stick this one. The tag can't quite get it with the bullets in play. Fault line for fault line. Stuns coming through. Trent, a bit of an overheat, and FNS just swings into it.
The aggression from FNS was wild, and I think Trent deliberately goes for that play because FNS had an operator.
Yeah.
So he thinks, well, there's no chance he's going to be fighting me, especially if I've got the stun on him, and FNS had a Vandal just lying at his feet. The crucial difference in that 1v1 clutch. FNS has been put into 2 1v1s so far in this map already, and he manages to win that one.
And you've got to give him credit. He's a player that's, you know, listen, I'm not going to beat around the bush. He gets clowned on online a bit for some of his performance and some of his misplays, but
he does get the least kills for his team overall, but that is an incredibly important round.
Yeah, he's been pivotal in some of these rounds, on top of the IGL.
Also the oldest player at the tournament, single-handedly dragging the average age of OpTic Gaming up. The only player in our 30s
we really are
competing.
Just roasting him.
No, that's not a roast. I think that's impressive, honestly, Brett.
It is impressive that he performs at the top.
I think it's astoundingly impressive that he's able to have had such a long career that only seems like it's just getting started in Valorant.
Yeah.
OpTic are hungry for that first title.
And it's a title that they've been reaching for quite some time.
Of course.
They've come close every now and then, but this time around, a renewed focus for OpTic. Still on the back foot in this match here. But hopefully, looking to try and even it up.
They're going to be walking into tour de force here from net. Looking to go for a bit of a double peek again with Victor and Crashes.
Crashes at the flash. Pop flash over the corner, and it's perfect. Still, net just pre-fires it. He was fully blind. Couldn't see a thing, but the timing was amazing. And the guard, that Viper's Pit, that's just locking down the A-Horse control for them. They knew it was leaning towards the B side. 20 seconds, and again, noise has been cut.
Sire Play has been on a flank here as well, and he used the Cloudburst to be able to get past that trip, and he finds another kill. There goes FNS, taken out by a jet flank they had no idea was possible.
With the tour de force, yep, so slow fields placed down. Not enough time for Ye to work anything. Has to run away and save that operator.
And the guard. They're up 5-2 here. They got a great start, obviously, but that's another round where 2 of their players didn't even have guns. They just have amazing ultimates to work with. Net, the timing on that is fabulous. He catches another couple. But yeah, the thing that I was talking about at the beginning with Sire being able to get those flanks past the trademarks, he was aggressive out of dish that round, found the trademark at bridge, and just went straight past it.
It's down, guns up.
Yeah, you can normally get such good passive value here from those abilities, and that's going to be more difficult. Talk about his active impact in the game as well, 2 and 5. He was monstrous on Chamber on map 1. You need that performance from Ye, and you expect it. He gives it to you almost every time.
Here it is, half buy for OpTic, but again, got to respect him, especially with the ultimates popped off. Victor just running it down, tries to beam the next player, but Trent, he does get his one before eventually traded. Ultimates popped, the rolling thunder. This looks like a recontest from OpTic, and they are coming up with the goods once more. So much firepower, not exactly in the weaponry, but they don't even need it. The abilities are there.
That's such a good round. We saw them pull that one out against Surreal as well. The wall allows them free entry, crashes with a flash, perfectly timed as Victor pops out. And that 1-2 punch of Victor crashes is a theme that this team has been able to rely on for the last year. And it's just looking so good when they have these preset plays. I mean, Victor, Yay, these are players you expect to be at the top of the scoreboard. They're not lighting the world up right now. But when they've got the right strategy to help empower them, that's where they really seem to come online. I need more of that, more playbook being accessed for OpTic.
And those special little plays that they've got cooked up.
I will say, when I watched them play against Surreal, I thought the playbook was good, but not particularly deep. So we need to see whether there's more to it. Victor running the same play again, but
fast lane as well.
He's probably still going to find some success. There's nobody anchoring the site for the guy.
Vance Molly does a bit of work there to try and split the players up. So high player pushed around the corner, just has to hold down Nest from Arcade, but worried about that combined pressure that could have come straight from that bridge side. It is going to be the spike down. The aftershock is a little bit delayed, but actually, maybe not the perfect timing of it. They spam as it comes through, giving them nowhere to run, but Sire players left wondering, just watching the top of Nest, and the players from OpTic once more finding value, finding the pickoffs that the team needs. Up top here into Nest. Double swing, Victor taken care of, but again, Marved impeccable with the timing, straight at the top of Nest. Able to follow it up.
This strat is working. I don't think you necessarily need to shift away from it. The same entry manages to find success, and then the post-plan positions are gorgeous. Victor tucks himself into this corner, really common position to be fighting from, and Yay is controlling tree the whole time too. So he's got that sightline, the crossfire, the entire time. He knows that nobody can push deep. As soon as you pick off Sire player, there's no arcade control whatsoever. I love the post-plant play there from OpTic. It's not crazy, it's not too creative. No. It's just fundamentally well played with good crossfires and a lot of map control. And the Guard are now taking a timeout. MCE, their coach, coming in to help the team out with the adjustments necessary to deal with this. And what do? You try and anchor somebody on the site, play anti-flash because you know how the KO is coming in. You try and play aggressive towards tree and deny them the opportunity to set up that play.
This round that's coming up, I don't believe, the money for the Guard, it's going to be the half buy for them. They do have ultimates online, of course, that they could end up using here, but I think potentially something cooked up, just something special on the half buy, maybe disrupt it. But yeah, this B aggression, the executes that OpTic are really just cooking up. It's difficult to disrupt that, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
And it snowballs into it. Like, if you look at OpTic's ultimates right here, I mean, it crashes, it's got the null command, you've got the orbital strike as well that Marv's using. All of these tools mean it's very difficult to try and anchor down a position and try and disrupt that kind of fast play.
I very much agree. Especially in the meta at the moment in Fracture feels very much try and deny the plant going down. Yeah. Maybe more so when you're running arrays, which neither of these teams are. But Crashy's ultimate, the null command, is going to be so good at that, just stopping all of the utility coming through. Extremely high value ultimate for Fracture, I think.
Look at this. Echoes of the Haven play that the Guard love to do with the quad push, but this time through Arcade. Yeah, he's just sipping out of there, man. He wants nothing to do with it. I don't blame him. Power in numbers, but
look at Victor.
Victor might just get sandwiched here at Dish. Has to use the fast lane to escape, and there's a fight underneath. Doubled up. Victor needs to try and survive. FNS trying to collapse onto it. The swing timing. It is a disaster right now. Yay. Jiggle around. It's going to be the warbang. Whips out the headhunter. The double up position. They're finding all the pickoffs. This half buy. That did not go the way that OpTic planned.
That's just absurd. Another thrifty in this match. And it doesn't feel like OpTic made the right decisions there at all. Yay stuck around for a huge amount of time, and Victor continued pushing forwards rather than evacuating with the rest of his team.
Yeah.
Then you've got just a single player of Marv alone in the tunnel. They weren't ready for the pathing around the map from the Guard at all. Completely caught with their pants down at every moment there in that round. OpTic kind of throwing away a big chance of being able to even the score.
They're going for it again. Trying to take that tree control. It's an aftershock. This is a counterplay, I think, from the Guard. They realize that It's pretty critical. This is their attempt of it, at least, to try and disrupt the hold that they might have on it. But there's the fast lane pushing forwards.
But that molly is way too slow to stop Victor.
Yeah, he's already in, but is that really the goal for them? They just want to try and disrupt them at the choke point. FNS left alive, a quick swing, and he crouches. It's perfect. Still, Ye falls. And now FNS 1v2. Doesn't have the spike. He's just legging it, man.
Yeah, he's
Does he
off.
realize?
I'm not
Maybe
sure.
a bit of a noise bait as well, running and cutting it.
Yeah, possibly trying to bait noise, but I think for the guard, you just hold the spike here. It's not a complex decision tree. You just hold the spike.
And they've
Jonah P's watching the other side in case he went under tunnel and could backstab them. But I don't think FNS is going to be able to sell the fact that he's gone all the way through through defender's spawn. I just don't think that's a reasonable consideration. Peeks into the operator, and Sire Play has been posted the entire time. What a good counter to OpTic's B execute.
Yeah, they disrupted before they can even set it up.
Yeah, they disrupted them at the choke point. But what was crucial about this too is that Victor went down. And Victor's the real player that could still make something happen. And Trent had to swing a full 90 degrees to deal with the Neon there. If Victor gets that kill, the round starts to open back up for OpTic. But Victor on his own couldn't do enough, with the rest of his team just separated in the choke. And it seems like that timeout really did give the guard, again, more tools to work with. These timeouts have just been impeccable.
Rare miss from Ye.
From both.
Aye, exactly. And this is the final round of the half. I think OpTic obviously would love to try and make a mark, bring it up to 7-5, because that at least has you feeling relatively good going into it, into the second half of this map here.
Is Trent holding this ult for the door noise or off Sire Player's contact? I'm not sure. The spike is still just left in spawn. OpTic haven't picked a side yet. They're again going for a bit of a contact look. Watching, hoping for a pick.
There's no setup here. I mean, oh my word, the timing on that. If Ye just held it for a second longer. He's worried about the top nest. And Jonah P has looked all the way for a bridge. Footsteps heard though, and yeah, Ye, he just pre-fires it. Or at least holds the angle. It sets it up nicely for that pickoff.
In the meantime as well, Trent has lost information towards Sand. The door was opened, but he doesn't know whether Sand has been taken by OpTic right now. So it has to fall back into a more passive position with his Rolling Thunder.
It's being swarmed though. I think the plan might be Rolling Thunder for Rolling Thunder. Null command there, swinging round. Sire Player, just the operator. But it might be the only thing he needs. He can't dash. Not with that Null command in play. And all the pressure on Victor to see if he can make some magic happen. But not right now. 8-4 at the half.
That's an insanely good half for the guard. There were moments, of course, where it looked dangerous, but OpTic never really got themselves into a position to win. And OpTic have been struggling in this tournament, I feel, with operator players, and Sire's just been so dangerous in the last two maps.
Yep.
There is a reason that OpTic banned Fracture in the finals in North America against the guard. And it looks like the guard are showing them why right now.
Absolutely. We're going to go to the desk to break down that first half.
Thanks so much, Brent and Sideshow. And the guard, they are up at the half on map 3. And we've been talking about a number of players, but we wanted to focus on the teen Trent a little bit, Kukuka.
Yeah, I think that we haven't talked about him that much because, of course, he's playing in a supportive role, but I still think that he's doing wonders with it. On Haven, with Sky, and getting all that information that you're not going to have without the Soba. And I think that on this map, he's doing the same. I think that he's really playing off for the team and keeping the distance when it needs to be kept.
When we talk about support players, we don't generally talk about kills, and I wanted to highlight a little bit of a moment for him where it was a bit of a toss-up. It's Breach v Breach, and it was a bit of a Breach diff moment, and the reason I want to highlight this for the audience out there is a tiny little micro-analysis is when should you pull out your utility and when should you not? So watch this. It goes down to a 1v1, and of course you can see Finesse, he's trying to decide what to do. They're throwing fault lines at each other, aftershocks, trying to stop the plan. Trent's playing this well, and you can see that he wants to use it, and that's perfect there, but he wants to commit too much utility to this. Pulls out, fold line v fold line. Okay, this is messy. And there he overcommits to the utility. Now, this is something that support players learn over time in mastering that role, is when do you continue to utilize that ability and when do you shoulder it, because you must take that engagement in a 1v1. Interesting to see the different, you know, finesse version of it and Trent's version.
One thing that I want to mention, because I feel like every single time that the guard asks for a pause, I don't know what MC has in his notebook, but every single time it's going to be a thrifty or a low buy where literally he has a round prepared being like, this is what you're going to do.
All right, well, Brennan Sideshow, we are ready to move into the second half of map 3, so take it away.
Am I ready to get right back into it? OpTic, down and out. Not just yet, though. It's
down
only in the round score, And this is, you know, they're no strangers to being able to make comebacks in the past. There's a lot of experience on this roster. The guard are so quick now to take that space and top dish on their attack side. Net just wants to hold it down in halls.
What does the defensive protocol look like here for OpTic? Do they try and flush out the player, Net, who's going to be coming from halls?
They're holding it.
Yeah, I'd like to see some aggression over there, actually. FNS is watching, doesn't really have a teammate to play off.
And he's used all of his bullets. Still the swing comes through, but it's the guard who come up huge.
Crazy messy, super labored on all sides.
So messy, the flash as well. Side player with the movement, the updraft around the side, and now it's up to Ye. 1v4. Can he really do this? Surely not, but we've seen it in the past. He's just that kind of player. The quality is there. Aftershock in the corner, he taps it, pulls it out, but they know his positioning. Swinging through, there's one, there's two! Oh my! And Jonah P, he's low. Snakebite holds the angle.
3 HP.
Ice Cold for him, 1 HP. Body blocks the Snakebite, but not enough for them. The damage was already done, and it's a pistol round win for the guard.
They had some speed on that as they sprinted their way through Dish. And OpTic had a really messy fight over towards Sand there. And it wasn't clean from the guard either. They should have dealt with FNS way earlier. But the guard will be happy about that one.
No! Push in. Might have whiffed a little bit.
I don't know who that was. Maya whiffed a little bit, but
all good.
They got around.
All good.
That's what matters.
OpTic. I feel like this might be one of those rounds where you decide to go for a force buy, but not the decision they've made here. They're missing a couple of those Marshall shots. Pretty rare that you see somebody hold that angle, but he was anticipating the tree aggression.
But instantaneous, I mean, he sees at least 2 players, I believe, there, so the call is made to just take the horse control.
Yeah, it's a great reactive push.
Yeah. And it's going to be OpTic forced to play that retake.
We've seen OpTic get dismantled on Fracture before, actually. Not with this composition, but previously in North America. And one of the reasons being that they became a bit easy to read, I think.
Sure.
And if the guard are really trying to play a reactive style, use early round information to dictate it, that might end up being the key.
One enemy remaining.
It's the Brim Molly to split at the sides. Net. Nice swing there, and
Sire player just keeps farming.
Yeah, Sire player farming. He's building up to the Blade Storm. It's 10-4. Heading into this next one. OpTic can finally get some of those rifles to potentially turn the tide of this map, but so far, the guard are coming in with that preparation that we know and love from them.
One enemy remaining.
You think about the series overall, they were slow to start on Icebox, but I feel like all of those early jitters seem to have disappeared.
After the first map,
they're making decisions quickly. Individually, they look good. Sire play has been fantastic.
And you can tell in the glimpses of the comms as well. The players are all communicating. There's no freezing up.
Yeah,
morale is high.
They sound smooth, which is what you're hoping for. And I think when you consider the map pool, right, one of my concerns for OpTic was that I would favor the guard on all 3 of the maps here. OpTic did a great job at establishing dominance early in the series by winning Icebox, but that level of anti-stratting or preparation against their opponent doesn't seem to have extended into maps 2 and maps 3. And that actually has been a theme for OpTic throughout North American challenges, throughout North American VCT. They have been great at being able to brutalize their opponent's map 1, and then occasionally they've crumbled after that.
Yeah.
They still...
I use the term confidence-driven. Because they do feel it sometimes, and it gets lost, the ability to carry forward the momentum of an earlier win. But OpTic now, with the timeout, cooking something up to try and get those rounds on the board, potentially get that comeback underway.
For OpTic, a lot of this, I think, is going to be down to finding those first picks. And some of that will be defensive set plays with Victor, but a lot of it's going to be on Ye with his tour de force or his operator. He's currently watching over towards Dish. He's got the perfect read on where the guard are coming from.
He's going to get a nasty sightline here as well. Assuming nothing gets covered, yeah, they just walk right into it. You don't expect players to be playing on top of that box.
And that spawned a slow field as well, so it's a little more difficult for guard to get into position.
But they don't cancel the hit. They're actually just going to be continuing straight into it.
What a push!
Yeah, he's gone, removed. And yep, the orb in hand pops it straight back into the spawn. Spike starts to get planted.
And there's this position by Jonah.
Jonah P swings out. It wasn't really supplemented with too much utility. He just wanted to try and catch the timing.
But it's a great thing to go for that kind of stuff on your bonus round. Yeah, getting into a position where the Spectre is favored, arguably.
Right now it looks like OpTic are looking to do that fast re-clear of halls. I like this. Disrupt the hold that the guard have got, but now they're going to be pushing forwards again. They actually know they're taking halls. They're taking their spawn. Moving around, Sire player is left alone to his own devices up top, and it's on him to at least get a couple of bits and pieces, some damage, some kills. Shut down in the end. OpTic, obviously with the better guns, they're able to find those trades and the kills easily enough.
It's always difficult to have a comeback like this. 6 rounds down. 10-4 was the score. But the only way to get a comeback going is 1 round at a time. That's what OpTic are doing right now, just focusing on making correct decisions for the round in question. FNS has actually been getting some really useful kills for his team. 11 and 12, top fragging right now. You really expect to see people like Ye or Victor up there if they're having great games.
Yeah.
But FNS is putting in work when his team needs it the most. He's buying time, perhaps, for these other big hitters on his team to come online.
Get out of my way.
You need that. This team really seems to live or die by whether Victor is playing at the top level, and he just isn't having the same impact that we saw from him in the game against Surreal, where they were totally in control of the tempo.
That's difficult for him when he's playing against a guy and a former Sire player. Knives in hand, I believe 19 kills to his name, pushes forwards, there's a stun, and he's just broken his ankles.
What an outplay!
Worked in the neutral. And now moving forwards, Net tries to swing at the rest of his team. Now it's just going straight through. Orbital strike splits up the side, but the timing as they push through. That's quite fantastic. Marv staying alive, 75 HP, 4 kills. Potentially the ace to try and close it. That is immense.
What an astounding round by Marv. That's the kind of stuff that he was pulling out for us in their most recent match. And we've seen hints of it perhaps, but no level of consistency in the last couple of maps. They need moments like that.
Those are the kind of plays that OpTic relish as well. When they're down a couple of rounds, as soon as one of their players is able to have these monumentous moments like Marv here. I mean, what a massive play to make as well, deciding to commit the orbital strike, split the players up, the crosshair placement as well.
It's so good.
And to close it out against Sire player when he's been dominating this map. That is what they need to get back on the board.
That's going to put guard back down onto an eco. Jonah P with a hero rifle. Only 600 credits to his name.
Flash over the top. Updraft in, Sire player though, he's completely blinded. Backs through. OpTic just pushing forwards. That's going to be a flash now all the way through it, and on this half by God, we're hoping to do a bit of damage, maybe get the plant down, build up that money. OpTic, a clean shutdown for them. Not everybody survives, but enough for them that they can keep building up the bankroll, building up the weaponry, and maybe potentially keep that momentum moving in their direction to equalize in this map.
One of the goals here for the guard in their attack is going to be to get Jonah P into a site so he can deploy his Viper's Pit. It's going to give them a massive advantage in the post plant. And for OpTic, I think you want to be trying to fight them at the chokes, deny them from getting into position to use those ultimates. FNS has a rolling thunder here that I could see being used fairly early. Holding a fault line for Victor to push a little in halls.
Full flash as well. Victor's pushed off the angle here, but FNS is ready. He's anticipating a bit of aggression coming through sand. That flash is going to push him all the way into spawn. And Victor, you got to get out of there, fam.
What a play by FNS though. He uses the rolling thunder over towards sand, tosses Sire player up in the air, and plucks him out of the sky. Yep. Great play by FNS. He's got 3 in the round. He's coming alive.
Shut down eventually by Jonah P. Victor though, potentially going to put in some of that work, and he holds it as well for the swing. It comes through. FNS again coming up huge for his team when he needs it. He's not known as a high numbers player, but in so many of these rounds, he's been keeping OpTic in it.
It's a spectacular performance, an amazing decision-making in that moment, getting all of the pressure from Sand, and he chooses to commit his ult at the perfect time to isolate that entry player. FNS is keeping his team in it right now, and the guard take another timeout. The desk was speaking about it. Opponent to this comeback. Exactly what you just saw there in the prior round. I mean, FNS doesn't wait for the spike to go down and then Rolling Thunder retake. He's finding them as they're entering. And I think that level of disruption's really important. But now,
so key.
Those big ultimates are, broadly speaking, off the table for OpTic. They've still got the null command, but Crashies doesn't look like he's going to be involved in the action too much because the guard is starting towards Hawk.
Yeah. This round should be an opportunity to potentially build up some of those ultimates, but
what a fast dash.
Yeah.
Neck can hear these rotates.
Smoke's down.
I think they're just playing the numbers right now against this half buy.
Yeah, they were considering going over to A, but without any further noise, spreading out around the map once more.
Complete cut in terms of noise. And net. Oh, see, he whiffs the shot. Yeah, he wasn't even watching the angle, but a quick little flick, and he finds out what's through the smoke.
Down B.
Okay.
It's not fair for a player this good to also be that lucky. That's not fair.
I mean, you call it luck. That is instinct.
I mean, that's incredible.
It's instinct, man.
Instinct and timing. There's a reason why the best players look like the luckiest as well. It's because they just have a read on the game.
Yeah. If it was difficult before, on the half buy, it's going to be even more so now. Snakebite does get that vulnerability applied to Marv, but Victor comes in clutch there with the trade. Tire player looks to catch the timing. The reset of the aim, he does get two. Now Trent, this is winnable. Ult in hand, the Rolling Thunder, but he doesn't anticipate it. Victor plays that so quick.
Yeah, Victor just challenged him instantly, getting that confidence flowing, going for the 1v1. Obviously has better weaponry and feels confident to finish the fight early before it gets into sticky territory. From a decision-making standpoint here, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty rough miss actually from Net, because that could have changed the tide of the entire round. But from a decision-making standpoint too, they were in, what, a 3v5 there, I think it was?
Yeah.
And Jonah P chose not to invest his Viper's Pit. That could have been a round where you choose, okay, let's send the ult, even though we're down players, because it'll actually give us a chance to convert it. But they're saving it for one of these big gun rounds. And I think this could be the pivotal one. And of course, pivotal round always has to have a tech pause. That's how it works.
No match is complete without a tech pause. That's why we sprinkled them in, actually. It's intentional.
But this round really is everything here, I think, in terms of the swing in momentum. The guard are a round away from getting their economy broken. They're probably looking to invest a bunch of ultimates here. And OpTic one away from being able to get this tied up again.
Yeah.
You can't give them these ints.
You can't give them the ints. They will take them. They have the experience, the veteran presence. A reminder, OpTic, the oldest team at this event, on average, against the youngest here.
Yeah.
In this North American rivalry.
And that's one of the things that really should be serving OpTic throughout their run at Masters Reykjavík, that veteran experience.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about Valorant as well. I mean, these guys have had careers going way back. Finesse hasn't got to 30 years old without being around the block a bit.
Sure, yeah.
So they should be, I think, if you follow normal thought patterns, they should be a team that's able to deal with these high-pressure situations. Now, sometimes they do crumble, though. And I think that's something that they are really looking to work on this year. But it could be an area where they separate themselves from the other North American team right now. Yeah. This would be one momentous comeback.
And as we get this, tech pause sorted as well, I believe it's one of the coaches as well. The monitor issue.
Little monitor issue?
Solved. Yeah, just getting it replaced, so it shouldn't be too long before we're back in the action. Just to update everybody at home. Don't want to keep you in the dark too much.
Of course not.
Although it's fun to lie and say that you broke stuff, Josh.
Yeah. They wouldn't let me anywhere near stuff. Interesting to note, actually. Sire player plays with his mouse up on a box. I was talking actually to the coach of the guard, and MCE said it took him a little while actually to get used to playing when he was first scrimming here on a normal desk, because he uses his mouse so high up, like almost at head height.
That is ridiculous. Yeah.
Some people have just got unusual setups.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's kind of useful for LAN as well. You want a consistent setup at home, you can just add a little box, increase the height, get it exactly how you wanted it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and now we see just mulling it over. OpTic, obviously, it being one round down, but it does feel like they are in the driver's seat when it comes to the direction this game is heading in. Pauses like this, sometimes they can help the opposition. Sometimes, though, you're just stewing, wondering, are we really losing grip of this match?
Yeah, I think it can be a difficult mental position that you end up being in, where it feels like you're in the flow state and you're suddenly getting ripped out of it. Let's take a look, though, at Victor's Neon stats from this tournament so far. This is what Victor can achieve when he's playing Neon.
This is not taking into account.
This is not taking this game into account, but if you take a look at what he's been able to do on Neon, especially in the game against Surreal, right?
Yeah.
Putting up 300 ACS, getting 24% first bloods, which is astounding. I mean, normally that's something that you'd have like Yay putting forward or something.
And 85% cast.
Yeah, I mean, just being involved in everything. And so here I think is a big element for Victor stepping up towards the end of this map. He's currently 9-15. Went 1-5 in first kills to first deaths in the map before. But he is a player that can at any point come online and make the biggest difference for OpTic. We talk about people like Yay and Marv Crashes, etc. But I think the biggest swing player for OpTic is Victor. And the difference between when he's having a bit of an off day and when he's really feeling it carries OpTic into that elite tier where it feels like sometimes they're unbeatable.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that Victor yet today, but I feel like at any point it could rear its head. It's just about him getting his own mental into that state.
Suddenly it's looking like a different picture for OpTic because they are still keeping up with the pace that the guard is setting, at least in this map when it comes to the rounds, 10-9.
Yeah, this one is at a serious swing point in this match. And whoever wins this, of course, will go on to face DRX. So you've got a spicy team waiting for you there in that upper bracket. And either way you slice it, it's, either it's OpTic facing off against another one of the international teams where they've been a bit hit or miss in those matchups, or it's the guard in their second ever game on stage going up against what thus far looks like the best team here. I mean, if you just look at the dominance that they've had over the rest of the pack.
The best iteration as well of DRX.
Sure.
Known to be formerly, Vision Strikers.
Sure,
I would say.
And I think a big overarching narrative for the guard is, what even is this team's ceiling? Because I don't think we've seen it this year. They've come into North America as a brand new roster. They got their final player in January, and they have just gone on a tear. #1 seed from NA. Could they win the whole thing? I think it's possible at this point. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, those questions we still have answered. I know you guys have questions as well. Well, luckily, we had a chat with the guard earlier and got to chat and talk about the tournament that they are about to be playing and in this matchup as well. Take a look. Yes, we're joined here with a nice little interview. Me and Josh, we are joined by some members of the guard, Trent and Val, and thank you very much for joining us, guys, as well. I mean, you guys are fresh out of, well, not really fresh out of quarantine, but, you know, close enough. I mean, it's been a couple of days, you know, it's been a couple of days. And this is your first Masters and first LAN event that you guys have played together. And you've been boot camping all the way in the lead up to this as well. You guys have just been grinding super hard. I just want to get your initial impressions, how you're feeling coming into this event, because you guys are straight into the playoffs as well. You haven't even been playing in the group stage as well.
I would say we're pretty excited to be here, obviously. And like being straight into the playoffs is kind of like a double-edged sword for us because, like you said, this is our first Masters, so it kind of sucks that we don't get to experience group stage and get a little bit of like practice leading up to the playoffs. But at the same time, like I've been with my guys enough, and I know that there's no, like, we're not going to fold under pressure just because we're on stage for the first time and stuff like that. So getting the advantage is also really helpful. And all of our guys, like, we've been doing good in practice, and I just can't wait to play.
Yeah, that's a mad thing about your team, actually, is that you're the youngest team at the event. I don't know whether you're aware of that, like just across the board. And you didn't have a ton of experience as a team, but it never mattered in North America. It felt like everything you did, you just handled it perfectly fine. What are some of the different emotions now coming to a bigger event like this? Does it feel different at all?
For me, definitely. I think I'm definitely gonna be nervous, so I kind of just have to like shave that off.
Right.
But I mean, it's all just comes down to confidence, so I definitely have that built up.
Yeah, I would say like maybe individuals might be a little nervous because it's their first time playing like on stage, but I know as a whole, like as a team, we're gonna play the same because like we had a BO5 versus Cloud9 to make this thing. Like if that's not enough pressure, like I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Especially like there's no fans for this event, so we don't have to experience that kind of like crowd like pressure and stuff like that.
That does make a big difference.
Yeah, and like we've been boot camping like at the Complexity facility in Dallas, so we're already used to like playing together and all that. So it's really nothing new.
Is that something that the coach MCE has gone in on, like talking about like what it's going to be like playing at a big event and trying to like get you guys prepped for that?
Yeah, definitely. He's been telling us what to expect, like what to do to prep ourselves, just really everything. He's like the most experienced out of all of us by far, so we just listen to him.
Yeah, we just listen to him, captain. We just follow his word everywhere.
That's pretty good. I mean, you guys were mentioning the boot camp as well that you guys had. I mean, how long was that? That was a long time, right? That was like
so we left.
Weeks, right?
We left January 7th and until the end of Challengers.
Have you guys got a chance to see your families as well before you flew out to Iceland and stuff?
Yeah. So luckily, because we won, we got like an extra couple days before we flew out because we flew out on the 5th instead of the 1st because we got first seed. So it gave us like some time to see our families before.
What was that like? I mean, you've been away from them for so long, just in the Sigma grind set mode.
Yeah.
It felt like you guys were locked in like a chamber where all you were doing was practicing grinding constantly. I mean, there was a tweet about how much you've been scrimming and stuff like that. That must have been weird to take that short break and then you're straight back into it.
Yeah, we felt like robots. It was just wake up, practice, sleep, just repeat for like 3 months. And I mean, it was a lot of hard work and it was, you know, a little shitty at times, but excuse my language.
No, you're good.
But at the end it was all worth it because, you know, we're here. But yeah, it was good to see our families, but like we're right back onto it because like some people say like, oh, like what about the burnout? But I think burnout counteracts because like with motivation, because we've been just so motivated to like play at this event. And now that we're here, it's like, you know, we're ready to go. Like we practiced for 3 months, but you know, we got to practice more. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No. All right. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Brennan. Josh, you know, it's...
Those guys love the sound of their own voice.
They really do. They're such narcissists.
Not a fan of them, actually.
I mean, the egos are tremendous. They really are. We are going to be jumping into the game soon enough. The issue, I believe, is resolved, and so we will
Love
continue.
to see it.
Here it is. Map 3, if you're just joining us here. 10-9 as a scoreline, but OpTic regaining the momentum.
And what an astounding moment for us to be jumping back in, because this is such a swing round. If OpTic are able to defeat the guard in this round, the economy's going to be in a bit of a wonky position. That flash really deep towards tree might give them an idea that somebody's pushing, but in fact, the aggression is only really towards A halls.
Victor taking a forward position, actually, of some sort of information. Crashies, he sends out a knife. He's looking for a tag just to give his team something to work with.
And the guard used that moment to press up, trying to give bad information to OpTic, and here they come.
Wow, it's a fast hit. Rolling Thunder to try and squeeze them. Crashes, pop flash round the corner, but shut down. Jonah P holding down the choke. Inside the smoke, Trent on 30 health. He realizes he could get spammed out there.
Look
Victor
how fast.
though, he's moved all the way around and he needs to be finished there. It is. Net, he whips it. He will shut it down. The guard with 4 players up now, just 2 remaining, and Marv falling. FNS once more. The responsibility of trying to close this one out on his shoulders, but 1v4, too much to ask, I think, for him. He's going to try and make it work, it looks like, despite the fact that, you know, maybe thinking, should I save this one, but a drop might change everything.
The time is ticking throughout all of this too. The spike
at this point.
just getting closer and closer. Despite the fact that Sire players flashed up, they're just not able to do it. Brent, that single round feels a bit like a metaphor for the entire game to me. Both Victor and Ye were in position to make massive impact happen, and both of them got shut down. Victor on the flank gets a kill, could open the entire retake back up, and gets traded out. Ye pushes himself into position and just can't make the magic happen that he was able to do in map 1. These people at the front of the pack for OpTic, the classic, I guess, duelist duo, even though Ye's on chamber, just not able to find those magical moments that they've often produced.
And finally, OpTic stopped in their tracks, but they're looking to regain the tide of the battle. Net going down there, the jiggle peak. I mean, he just had such a small angle to try and find that one, but the guard not messing around. A flash coming through, and a very interesting Viper's Pit just cuts across, actually, straight into Generated. A Rolling Thunder to push them back. Players still trying to work their way into position. Yay! Cannot get the kill. Sire player looking for more, swinging straight into main. He already found 2 for his team, but maybe getting a bit overzealous.
The plant still hasn't got down here, actually. Jonah P's used his Viper's Pit to cut off that generator area, but it doesn't give them any safe refuge on site. Victor's worked his way all the way in.
Jonah P needs to survive. He needs to survive in his Viper's Pit for any sort of chance. Working his way around, Victor. His health is just ticking down. You see the molly coming through, the swing timing, the stun. It's all there. One more flash available. It's a nice dodge from Victor, and the coverage in the pit as well. They knew that Jonah P was going to swing off of it.
How does Victor avoid that one?
I mean, he almost broke his wrist, I feel like, snapping that.
Yeah, he snapped away from the flash and was able to swing back before Trent could collect. And OpTic are back in it. They're keeping this gap tight at a single round. This time, Victor really does make the difference.
It makes a huge difference.
The stun, too, is lovely to be able to isolate Valen. Look at what a dodge.
Yeah.
That's so good. I feel like Jonah P's ultimate, he held it for so long, so many rounds where it could have been invested, and he chose to pick the perfect opportunity, and it actually didn't really have that much value in the round.
It didn't matter. OpTic
Here.
right back into it. Money is low for the guard. And when it gets down like this, 11-10, it's the smallest of things that can change the outcome of the map. So much on the line here. Sire play a quick little dodge to the left there. Flash in play, comes through, tries to go for it, but look at that. The swing from the OpTic players. Marv, Victor, FNS, it all comes together.
And they crushed that push. No possibility whatsoever for the guard to get through A-halls there. This game is going to get tied up at 11-11. OT, an absolute possibility. The guard were 10-4 up in this match.
They found my trap.
10-4.
This has been an unbelievable comeback. In the grand finals in North America, it was the guard that had the comeback. 4-8 down on Haven, with Sire player 1v3ing the final round as things got towards round 24. This has been even more impressive. Even more impressive. And this setup just works so nicely.
Oh, I love that.
Victor with such a wide swing sets up and breaks the crosshair placement even on the players that aren't flashed from FNS. That's a gorgeous little play.
And it works out so nicely for them. And now the money that I keep bringing up, but this time 11-11 in the scoreline. The smallest of margins that can affect us now moving into it. And it's the guard who aren't really working with.
You want to play? Let's play.
These thrifty rounds, though, have been so dangerous in this match so far. Both teams able to pick them up at wild times, and Crashies, what a push against the eco. I mean, Crashies is so isolated if they find him down there.
But Ye holds down to one angle. Sire player! The timing. Looks to kill. Ye misses it. The swing for the movement. Okay, he was able to hop out of there, but Net was covering it when he was trying to retreat.
And Crashies, I think, was supposed to be giving them information from his position in tunnel.
No.
And that's what I'm talking about. What a play to do on an eco round. He can't help the rest of his squad. And this is 4-3 in favor of the guard.
And for this to happen again, Marv, he's got the orbital strike to disrupt this. A minute on the clock. All the players up in nest. The orbital strike, it's perfect. The players are caught. Marv gets the one as Trent was weakened, and now the 2v3 with the ultimates to turn it. It was looking dire for OpTic. Regaining control. Jonah might be able to do something about that, though. Net tour de force. He knows as a player at Generator. Victor, not making any noise, just walking.
They know roughly where Victor is. The problem
30
is that
seconds
Spike
left.
is just
One enemy remaining.
And Victor finds the perfect timing onto Jonah P. It's all in Net's hands here. But this would be a monumental task.
Waiting for the spike plant, I think. And then they're going to re-peek with some. I mean, Eris doesn't have a stun or utility.
But there's only 20 seconds.
Yeah.
They're worried about a fake, but now the spike's actually planted.
It gives him time for the stun. They got to know where he is, yeah. Spam comes through Victor with 4 kills when it was really not going their way at all, but they shut down that half by threat.
And that was a serious threat. Champions music.
Yeah, you should get it.
Not bad. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what all of these teams are fighting for in the grand scheme of things too, right? Representing North America on the big stages. Victor having massive impact, but also this ultimate was perfectly timed by Marv.
30 seconds left.
And we were talking about Victor needing to step up, and that being the difference maker for OpTic. He shot to the top of the scoreboard for his team. 19 kills, 16 deaths.
Yeah, astounding improvement, actually. And it's in the last 2 rounds. I don't think he was actually credited for any of the kills in that A-Halls play, but the swing, the slide, was what set up the rest of his team to do it.
Crosshair placement.
And here he looks like he's pushing Dish again. Can he be the difference maker? Can OpTic close it out?
This could be it. OpTic would love to finish it here. Void taking it to that OT. The guard, the patient play, obviously exchanging the fire. A little jiggle peek there with the added movement, but it is just the waiting game. Marv is in such a one-and-done angle. I feel like this is potentially incredibly risky if the guard end up using utility to just clear through deep in Dish here, but they are just waiting for now.
There's no real flash.
Contact in?
Yeah.
Enemy down.
Great trade from Valen. That's what you need to be able to open up Dish. But now the question becomes, with a minute on the clock, do you commit to this? Do you still want to go for an A-split? They are cutting noise, freezing the round completely. These defenders from OpTic, as you saw Victor sprint over, but now he's unsure.
Yeah, waiting it out. A reminder, Jonah P, he's got his Viper wall over towards B, potentially still pulling those plays over. Stun. The orb as well, bit of a swoop peek, orbital strike to push the player into the back of the side. Victor! He finds Jonah P, and none of the players have managed to even get onto the side to collapse onto it. Is this how it happens? The guard, moments away, now to 2v3. 25 seconds left. They're just trying to squeeze it out. Valen, the third forum, swings through. A finesse into the back. He's so low, but he drops down. Valen is finding the fire rate, and the swing again is